One thing before I start is you'll see a lot of these members here are doing several things today for the Easter program. So anybody else that wants to get involved, we love to have you. So please, please, please see this and see people willing to work and allow this to be an opportunity for you guys to come and join us. We have fun, we eat, we laugh. It's awesome. It's a good time, guys. So good morning, saints. Welcome. I know today is one of those days that you guys tend to come to church and you have all these wonderful things going on. And I'm here to tell you because God said that there's more for you guys to know. Thousands of years ago, it was my son that died on that cross. And you know, some of you know this story, right? And some of you know it well, and a few of you know this really intimately. But God sent me today to tell you that there's more. And so I was sent. I'm so blessed because he was my son. But even from the beginning, I had to realize that it wasn't about me. For an angel appeared, Gabriel, and he said, Mary, you will bear a son, and you will call him Jesus. And he will save your people from your sin, and his kingdom will reign forever and ever. And at the age of 14, can you imagine that responsibility I had? Most 14-year-olds nowadays, they have their life planned out for them, right? They know what's best. And my plans were not my plans anymore. They were God's plans. And I had to let it go. So here I was, 9 months pregnant, walking out into Bethlehem, and there wasn't even a room for me to sit. And so I sat in a manger and I bared my child, and the pain and the agony that I had was instantly gone when I looked at his face. My sweet baby boy, Jesus. How I loved him, how I kissed his forehead and loved those snuggles from the moment he was born. And I grew up with him. I taught him how to walk. I taught him how to talk. Can you imagine what an honor that is for me as the mother of God? And sometimes I was afraid and I wanted to heal him from the pain and prevent him from pain. And when he fell, I'd pick him up and I'd kiss his boo-boos and I'd kiss the top of his forehead, and I loved that man. And he grew, and one day I thought I lost him. He was 12, and I couldn't find him anywhere. I should have known where he would have been. He was at the temple, praising and preaching and teaching at a young age. But can you imagine how I felt? I thought I had lost him. But even then, that fear and that agony isn't anything that I would have experienced in his life. And he grew, and then he was in his 20s, and as some of you moms know, he was still at the house, and I was like, is he ever going to get married or do normal things, or what is he doing? And then that day came, and my sweet son, Jesus, came to tell me that he had to go. And so I held his hands, not knowing if it would be the last time I'd ever hold him. And he kissed my hands, and I didn't know where he was going or what he was doing, but I had to say goodbye. And that pain that I felt then is still not anything that I would ever feel, but I had to realize again it was not about me. And so he began teaching. I heard all these stories about all these miracles that he was doing for people. And I thought, that's my son. All these wonderful things. He taught people how to love the Lord. Those that couldn't walk, he healed them. And he allowed them to walk again. He let the blind man see. He allowed people to raise from the dead. And that was my son. But even then, it wasn't about me. But people heard, other people heard, and the crowds would gather around, and they celebrated him, and they gathered for his teachings, and they just wanted to know more, and they began to love him so much. In fact, there was a select few, maybe 12, I'm not sure the exact number, disciples they called them, that were willing to say bye to their old ways and follow him. And you know what? They were willing to make that sacrifice, and we're not even willing to make that sacrifice today, but Jesus loved them as if they were his own children as well. He broke his body for them. He gave them the wine that was his blood for them. He was willing to do the ultimate humility and wash their feet because he loved them. So can you imagine how I felt when one of the ones that I trusted, was willing to sell his life for 30 pieces of silver. And my son is so much more valuable than that, but he did. And they came and they took him. And I watched my son as he got bound. And Peter tried to save him. He did, but even Peter would betray him, not once, but 3 times would Peter deny him. And I thought to myself, Lord, why? Why? My son is not a criminal. And as they prepared him for the crucifixion, as they hung him up on that cross, I watched them put the nails in his hands, the sweet hands that I held. And I watched them stick a crown of thorns on his head, that same head that I kissed. My sweet baby boy. And they pierced him in his side, and I sat at the foot of the cross, and I cried as the blood came down. And then they put him in the tomb. They raised him up and put him in the tomb. And he was hidden behind the tomb, and he was not there. And so for the next 3 days, I recalled the last words that he said. I remember what he said. And he said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they've done." And I thought, how could I forgive them? He worked miracles for them, and they killed him. And I remember he said, "It is finished." And I thought, he's gone. Gabriel had told me that his kingdom would reign forever, but yet he's gone. And then there were these women who wanted to come and pay their respects to my son. And they came. And when they arrived to the tomb, all they found were his clothes. He was not there. My son was resurrected. My son was alive, and they celebrated, and they ran to tell others, and they ran to tell the disciples, and everybody came, and he was not there. My son has risen. My son is alive, and he's alive today, and he died on that cross for each and every one of you, and it was not about me, but it is about me, and it's about each and every one of you, because it is finished. Death is finished. Sin is gone, and he reigns, and he is alive. For the scripture says,
God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, for those who believe in him shall not perish, but have
everlasting life.